Right now, you make $35,000 a year. That's $2,900 a month before the government takes its share. After taxes, closer to $2,200. After rent, after the car, after the phone bill, maybe $300 left. Sometimes less. You don't feel poor. Poor is a word for other people. You feel fine, manageable. You feel like you're one unexpected bill away from not fine, but today is okay. I've stood on every level of this. Let me save you 10 years. Because here's what nobody tells you about $35,000. It's not a salary. It's a starting position. And where you end up 20 years from now has almost nothing to do with the raises you get, and almost everything to do with 3 decisions most people at this level never make. 20 years from now, one of 2 things will be true about you. This is what determines which one. 3 decisions. Most people never make them. Let's look at yours. Level 1, the baseline. $35K, the weight you don't name. You make $35,000 a year, and you've learned to move carefully, not dramatically carefully, not I'm eating ramen carefully, just you know the price of everything before you pick it up. You do the math at the register before the cashier does. You've gotten good at it, fast even. Your rent takes roughly 30% of your gross, maybe more depending on the city. That number 30% sounds fine on paper. Housing experts will tell you that's the target. What they don't tell you is that 30% of 35,000 leaves. So little room that 1 car repair, 1 dental bill, 1 month, where something goes wrong and you're borrowing from next month to pay this one. You're not behind on anything. That's the thing. Everything is technically current. But the margin between current and behind is about $800 and a bad Tuesday. Emotionally, this level feels like holding your breath. Not drowning, just not fully breathing. You go to work, you do the job, you come home. The weekend comes, and you're aware quietly without saying it out loud that every enjoyable thing costs something you have to account for later. Your friends invite you places. You say yes sometimes. You calculate before you say yes. That calculation, that half-second pause before sure I'm in, that's not a personality trait. That's the salary talking. The rule at this level, the math never leaves the room. It just learns to hide. Level 2. The first exhale, 38K, when one thing gets easier. $3,000 more per year, $250 more per month. After taxes, closer to $180. It doesn't sound like much. It isn't much. But something shifts. $250 more per month. That's 1 car payment, 1 grocery run, 1 thing that used to break you that now just doesn't. At $35,000, you said no to things you wanted. At 38, you start saying yes to small things without the calculation running in the background. A dinner. A weekend trip that doesn't require 3 weeks of pre-saving. A car repair that doesn't send you to a credit card. That absence, the absence of the calculation, is the first real luxury this level buys you. Not money, quiet. But here's where most people at 38,000 make the mistake that will follow them for a decade. They lifestyle inflate immediately. The raise comes in, and within 60 days the new number is already fully spoken for. A slightly nicer apartment, a newer phone, 1 more subscription. The strange thing is you don't feel like you overspent. Each individual upgrade made sense. The apartment was only a little more. The phone was due. That's how the math outruns you 1 reasonable decision at a time. The margin, that $250 that felt like breathing room disappears. I watched this happen to myself once. I got a raise and felt richer for exactly 3 weeks. Then I looked at the account, and the number looked exactly the same as before. Different outflows, same result. The people who pull away from this level, who actually feel the distance between 38 and the level above, are the ones who let the raise hit the account and don't touch it for 90 days. They don't upgrade. They bank the difference. The raise becomes an asset before it becomes a habit. Most people make it a habit first. Level 3, the comfortable trap, 41K, when OK becomes permanent. The rule at this level, a raise, is a test. Most people fail it in the first month. 41,000. You're comfortable now. Not free, not secure in any real sense, but comfortable. The bills get paid without drama. There's a small cushion in the account. You stopped flinching at the grocery total. You bought something for yourself last month, not because you needed it, something you just wanted, and you didn't think about it again afterward. This is the level that swallows careers. Comfortable is the level where you stop updating your resume. Not because things are great, because nothing hurts enough to make you move. When everything is manageable, the urgency to change anything disappears. You stop looking for better. You stop building. You settle into the rhythm of a life that is fine, genuinely fine, and fine slowly becomes the ceiling instead of the floor. There's a version of you at 41,000 who is still at 41,000 at 53. You got there by doing nothing wrong. By paying the bills, showing up to work, being a reliable employee. You didn't make mistakes, you just stopped moving. The dangerous thing about comfort is that it doesn't feel like a trap while you're in it. It feels like a rival. It feels like you made it through the hard part. It feels like you can exhale. And you can, for a moment. The mistake is never inhaling again. At this level, the most important question you can ask yourself isn't, how do I spend this? It's, what would I regret not starting right now, 10 years from today? Most people at 41,000 never ask that question. The comfort absorbs it before it fully forms. The rule at this level, comfort is the most expensive thing you'll ever buy. And then, without warning, someone taps you on the shoulder. Level 4. The shoulder tap. 44K, when someone finally notices you've been at this for a while now. Years. And then, one day, someone in a meeting acknowledges that you know what you're talking about. A project goes right. A manager pulls you aside. An offer comes not from inside the company, but from outside. Someone noticed. 44,000. This is the level where the emotional landscape shifts in a specific way for the first time. You start to believe the number might keep moving. Before this, raises felt like accidents. Like something the company decided, not something you earned. At 44,000, something clicks. You start to see the connection between what you do and what you make. That belief, the belief that your actions move the number, is worth more than the raise itself. Financially, 44,000 is where a real emergency fund becomes possible for the first time. Not, I have $200 set aside, possible. Actually, 3 to 6 months of expenses sitting somewhere boring, not being touched. Most financial advice tells you to build this first. Most people at earlier levels couldn't. You can now. But there's a psychological weight at this level that doesn't get discussed. The higher you climb, the more visible you become, And the more visible you become, the more you start to feel like you're performing. Like the next level requires a version of you that you're not sure you actually are. Imposter syndrome doesn't live at 35,000. It lives right here, at 44 when the stakes are real enough to matter. The people who stall here aren't stalling because they can't do the work. They're stalling because they don't fully believe they deserve the next room.